Touchdown, West Philly.
A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
In the front, Fuzzy again. Hey, we are right. We're on the air, Ron. Can you believe this?
There we go.
Yeah, you're listening to the Sal and Ron Sports Report on 321 Media. So it should be a little bit of fun here today. I mean, look who walks through the door is the head baseball coach for the Stonington Bears.
I know, what are the odds of that?
We're going to try to do a special show next week. I don't know whether we're going to be able to do it or not, but it looks like we are. We're gonna host some members of your if you want to bring some guys on from your Ron from your state championship team, and we're gonna have the 1960 some of the 1960 state championship. Chief Erskine is going to come on and talk a little bit about that group because he was a part of that team, and they had like two or three pitchers in that group. They were pretty good. They had a guy that was 6'6". Dick Williams, no longer with us. That was
Stonington, right?
That was Stonington, yeah. Wesley had a good team too.
I know the 60s. My father played 63, I think his senior year was, and they had some really good players on that team with George Greer and that group of guys. Always said Charahoe was a nemesis during that time.
Good defense, good pitching. All right, here we go. Got to hold the mics closer to our mouths. He's saying right here.
All right.
He told us. Okay, so we are on the air. We're having some fun here. Always fun here, Ron, with you. It's a blast. So the whole world can see us right now. In fact, the crew at WBLQ can look up at the board up there, and they can see this. Two handsome guys right there in front of them. Oh boy. So anyway, Ron, tell us a little bit about your team this year. You got a little bit of a problem with your catcher, but maybe not too much. Hopefully, you will have a scrimmage this morning. Another Division I school, South Kingston, a big school. You usually play them at the end of the year, but this year you're going to play them twice because you're in Division I now too. So that's really something special. Back in the day, there was no such thing as Division I. Division II, there was just division. Everybody was like either the Southern Division or the Metropolitan Division, East Bay Division, Western Division, and believe it or not, the cream of the crop was in the Southern Division. I mean, You had Coventry, you had West Warwick, you had North Kingston, you had South Kingston, you had Westerly, and of course Charahoe, unbelievable, played defense with their manager head coach was Skip Kenyon, and
that's a big name. I remember.
Yeah, Skip's brother was signed by the Mets, if I'm not mistaken. He was a great pitcher. He played with George Greer and that crew, and George was on the Westerly Bulldog team through the early '60s, and Charahoe. That I'm just going down the list now. Tell us a little bit about your team this year, Ron.
So we had tryouts this week, and the way we go about it is that it's like 5 days of practice for us because we, with our numbers, we usually get, just enough to have a good amount of JV and varsity players. The last few years, we either, get the opportunity to keep everybody and try to develop some of the younger guys and hope they become varsity players, to help us in the future. So we're able to keep I think we kept 26 this year total for varsity and JV. For varsity wise, right now, we might whittle it down, or we got 18 or 19 right now. And, if there's a JV game on the same day, a couple of them are going to go play JV. But right now we got 18, 19 on the varsity schedule. That's what we're bringing today to South Kingston. And, I'm kind of interested in seeing some of these kids play that haven't got a lot of varsity time in the last few years, stepping in some big roles. And you mentioned our catcher, Grayson Simmons. He had a little fracture in his hand that he didn't even know about. Figured it out about a month ago. So he was in a cast, and that's off, and he's cleared to go. But he's got to do some PT, and it's gonna take another a week or two, so he may miss the first week. He may be ready to go, but we got a little scared there for a minute because there was a possibility that he was out for the season, and
Whoa, yeah.
making the jump to Division One, possibly not having your starting catcher there would be a big loss for us, especially where we got 2 young catchers in the program, but they're freshmen, and they're gonna have to step up today.
I was gonna ask you about that. You got a second catcher.
So we got 2 freshmen. We have Jack Parker, his brother's Jaden, who is our shortstop. He was on the championship team last year. He's still a senior this year. So Jaden Parker.
No, they have a sister in this.
Yeah, she plays basketball. She was on the basketball team. Yeah, it's an athletic family.
I know she's a pretty good athlete.
And that really, the whole family thing coming up through Westerly is what I always preach to the players with pride for your school. A lot of your uncles, aunts, mothers, brothers have played on a Westerly team, and there's a lot of pride for Westerly sports in Westerly. So we definitely get the most out of that with effort out of our kids, and that's what we're looking for. To, if you're feeling like you can't give 100% on the next play, I want you to think that there's a lot of alumni that came through this program that gave it their all, that expect every single team coming through from that point on to also give a full effort. And as a coach, that's all I want, 100% effort. And if we lose, we lose. But an effort, can't really be taught, but it can be, projected through the coach and up, down, by 10 runs, 40 points in football. It doesn't matter. It should all be the same. But yeah, Grayson should be back. So we got Jack Parker is a freshman, and Caden Messier is another catcher freshman that we have. They're both going to get time today, so kind of interested in seeing how they do. So we got 4 freshmen on the roster. I guess we'll go in the opposite order as we usually do. So talking about freshmen, we do have 4 freshmen, and the other 2, Kevin Saglio, who a very powerful swing, and
if you turn over to your right,
I know we got the whole
the whole staff over there. You guys got microphones up there. No, I don't mean coming on. I mean you guys doing a little scouting over here.
Maybe if it was football, but yeah.
All right.
So
we
actually scrimmage.
Just a coincidence.
We do scrimmage Stonington next Saturday.
My good buddy Bob Cahoon over there. A lot of good memories with Bob.
So next Saturday I'll be here in the morning again with you, and then we're playing Stonington at noon.
Oh, you're playing Stonington at noon
next week? Yeah.
Wow, that should be interesting.
So yes, and then
I can see Bob over there. He's already crying in his coffee because the New York Yankees they don't look like they're going to be anywhere near what they were last year, Bob. You lose your best pitcher. Your free agent goes to the Mets.
Well,
unbelievable. Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Rodon is starting for the Yankees. They're playing that first game is Thursday, opening day. They're playing the Milwaukee Brewers, and they're playing at home. So should be. I think the Sox are going to be a decent squad this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I was watching some of the game in Japan the other day without the Dodgers and the Cubs. It was the first. It actually counts toward their record, I guess. So the Japanese series there, the Tokyo series.
No question about it.
So yeah, getting back to the roster, I guess, right?
Yeah, let's go back to the roster. I'm interested in
so we got
the middle of the field, the shortstop.
Yeah. So the other 4th freshman is Jackson Mankoff, and he looks really good. He's a hockey player. Plays hockey also. But yeah, so for the projected starters, what it looks like, if we got Mike Poole pitching, so first base is also a question. We're gonna find out if some of our guys can play today. So we got Cam McDonald is a sophomore, so he's gonna get the first crack at first base with when Mike Poole pitches, because Mike Poole is going to be over at first as well when he's not pitching.
When he's not pitching, okay.
Day after he pitches, depending on how he feels, he might not play first either, depending on his arm. Because we definitely need Mike as a pitcher, and we got to have Mike healthy by the end of the season. So we also could end up, Zach Miner or Tom Fiore could end up playing some first base too. We haven't had him over there yet. But we'll figure that spot out, and hopefully Cam McDonald.
Those 2 guys that you just mentioned, they're very versatile athletes.
Yeah, yep. Tom and Zach. Zach, they both can probably play almost anywhere on the field. You know, Zach plays second base, but he easily could play shortstop. He could play first base. He's a pitcher, obviously. He had no earned runs in league games last year, which was amazing. Didn't give up one league run in 45 innings of varsity pitching. That's unbelievable. They didn't give up any runs. So and Zach's going to move to a starting pitcher this year. He's going to be a starter.
Yeah.
And Tom Fiore and Chase Collins, the other are 3 or 4 starters. We're pretty deep, and then we still got James Hooper in relief. We got Jack Zeberini. We got Luke Waltney. We got and we still got others. You know, we got 10 pitchers that I could call upon, and you know, it's needed in Division One. We got 4 games in a week sometimes, so we're going to need as much pitching as possible. And you know, kind of excited to get started here because we have, you know, like I said, we got 3 scrimmages this week, and then we get right into league games. So you know, starting this week, the season's going to start going quick.
So when the season doesn't start this coming week?
No, April 1st.
The
Yeah.
following week. Okay.
That
makes sense.
Yeah, we got 3 scrimmages. We got South Kingston today away. Tuesday we're home. Anybody want to check? Wants to check us out? We're at 3:45 against Narragansett, and then next Saturday we're at noon at Stonington. So
is that a kind of a practice game, or
it's all scrimmages? There's supposed to be umpires at everything. So it is a scrimmage, but it's still, you know, a game format.
But you guys do play a legitimate game with Stonington near the end of the year. Am I correct?
Yep, May 22nd. It's our senior night actually. So it's our last game of the season before the playoffs. Game? Yeah, it's home and
Saturday night.
Yeah, it's 6:30 start. I think it is a Saturday night at May 22nd.
Yeah, they usually are on Saturday nights.
Should be a nice night in May. So
nothing like the old days when we played double headers and Doug Erskine would pitch the opening, and then Randy Wentz would pitch the other, and George Greer would be pitching, and Billy Burley, and those days are long gone now. But hey, you got some good athletes there, Ron. You got the minor kid was what
yeah, he was the Division II Player of the Year.
Yeah,
last year, and you know, he did it all. He batted over 300 and played a good second base. Obviously, we talked about his pitching, not giving up any earned runs. And his best game of the season was that semifinal game against East Providence, where he pitched 7 scoreless innings, and it went with extra innings. So that was a great game, beating East Providence up in East Providence to get to the finals last year.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you that East Providence team. There was some good ball players on there, and it was developed into quite a rivalry, huh, Ron?
Yeah, the last 2 years, 2023, because they won it in between the 2 years we did it, because they after 2022 when we won it, they moved down from Division I, and they ended up winning the first year they were down here. They beat I think we got to the way the format is, it's double elimination, so it's not technically like the semifinals that they beat us in, but it was pretty close to it. There was like 4 or 5 teams left in 2023 when they beat us, and we played them 3 times that year, twice in the regular season in tough games. We split with them, and then we played them twice in the playoffs also. I think they beat us twice in the playoffs, and come back the following year, last year, and you know, he did again. You know,
he did, right?
Yeah,
they brought a busload down.
Yeah,
they brought a whole bus down.
So you know, yeah, in the playoffs, they actually ended up beating us at home when we were home, and then a couple of days later, we played them away and we beat them to get to the finals. So
yeah, and then you beat them up there. That's what propelled you. You played. Who'd you play in
the finals?
Yeah,
East Greenwich.
East Greenwich. Okay.
Yeah.
The year before
it was Narragansett. Yeah.
I was at that game, and that's when Mike Poole.
As a freshman, won game 3.
Won game 3.
And you'll see us playing East Providence again, because they're in Division I, and they moved up too. And we are home against them. We only play them once, but we're home.
Who's the head coach for East Providence?
Oh, it's John. What the heck is his name? It'll come to me in a minute. I definitely know it, but you might know who he is. He talks about playing. He used to play in the Twilight League in Westerly. Back in like remember my Uncle Billy Gingerella for the Hilltops there was coaching, and there was the Wesley Sun with some Wesley guys on that team. It was kind of a mix, some Stonington guys.
It was towards the end that they kind of split up a little bit, but they were still playing right up until. And you're your Uncle Billy actually is it your Uncle Billy?
Yeah, Billy Gingerella. No, it's my uncle, my
Your
great
Uncle
uncle.
Billy. He till they actually turned the key and locked everybody out. Billy was still playing third base, and he was a heck of a hitter.
Yeah. The stories,
Billy
I heard
Gingerella.
from those, and
Yeah.
one of the things I remember because there was nothing against tobacco back then. Everybody was chewing tobacco. I remember I would be like 7 years old in the dugout like a bat boy, and it'd be almost getting in the crossfire of the tobacco spit in that dugout.
There was a guy that from Stonington, and the name just came to me. And these guys over there that are sitting over there know him, and I'm sure you know him too. The guy's name was John Turner.
Oh yeah, I just
John
saw him. That's
Turner.
what I was talking
Oh,
about.
that's the guy,
He was
right?
the one he was the manager and played for the Wesley Sun team in
Wesley's
that
son.
league. Yeah.
And he tried to keep that league going even after Bobby got sick
Yeah.
and everything. Bobby Gingerella got sick. Nooney was no longer with us. The Billy was starting to wind down, and I wasn't playing there. I retired. I got a big pension from the Hilltop. When I retired, free beer, 3.20 glasses of beer at Roxy's, and a couple of slices of that best pizza on earth. You remember those days? Okay, so the guy I'm thinking of is not only is the guy from East Providence, but there's a guy I think he manages or coaches. Is it St. Ray's? Very well known.
Yeah, so his son was a very good basketball player too. That's
Sorrentino.
Sorrentine.
Sorrentine. Yeah.
So East Providence, it's Billy Roderick.
Billy Roderick. Okay.
Rob Roderick. Robbie.
Rob
So
Roderick.
they call him Bobby. Yeah, Bobby Roderick.
And Sorrentine, his son played for Vermont. Did he play for Vermont?
Yeah, he was on that team with Alex Jensen and
Yeah.
and those guys from when they made that nice run in the
they did.
NCAA
That's right.
tournament. So they had another big guy too. They had a big guy there. I remember on that team. And one thing about Alex Jensen, because he was my age but went to Stonington. So
Right.
So he graduated in 2000. And everybody talks about basketball is a big sport, and going to college and playing Division I, and
Right.
I remember as a freshman he would average 34 points a game.
Yeah.
in Connecticut. He ended up having over 2,000
Did he
points.
finish all his time at Stonington, or did he?
Yeah,
play?
he went to Stonington for all 4 years, and he ended up going to Lehigh for his first year of basketball.
Okay, and then
he transferred to Vermont. And
yeah.
he's on the. I'm pretty sure he's still easily top 10 in all-time Connecticut scoring. He had over
Wow.
2,000 points, which is amazing.
And he was a football player too, as
His
well.
brother was his
Oh, that
brother.
was his brother.
Actually, he did play football for a year, but he ended up just focusing
Okay.
on basketball. But his brother was a freshman when I was a senior, also. So
Wow, there's some memories there, Ron.
yeah, they were good. I remember him playing in rec league, and he would
Tearing
absolutely
it apart.
dominate. I remember
Dominate, huh?
Neil Cobley. I don't know if he
I
ever
know
listened.
Neil,
So
yeah.
Neil was
Neil
always
might be listening.
Neil was always his coach in rec league, and they would absolutely dominate. He would just dribble around everybody and break presses and score probably 50 points a game. And yeah,
Unbelievable. Was he a prolific three-point shooter? I don't.
he really did it all. Like he was a great ball handler, but he also had some height too. I think he was probably a good 6'2", 6'3" at least.
Yeah.
And great shooter. He could drive. He really, for high school, he could do it all. You know what I mean? He was really good. If you're scoring, averaging upper 20s, 30-something points a game as a freshman
Yeah.
in varsity. So, over 2,000 points in a high school career is, unheard of. So
Nice.
he was really good. And I know
Some good memory.
we had some battles though. I remember I only played basketball my freshman year. So I was just a fan in the crowd during
Yeah,
high school. That was
a
my
throwing guy,
that was
yeah.
my off season there. But I in the Christmas tournament, Wesley Stonington had some battles. I know Westerly. I think in my senior year, I think Westerly with Jimmy Ward and Jeff Marone, Mike Haggerty,
Yeah.
Mike McDonald, those guys, John Pucci. They beat Stonington.
John
It was
Pucci.
back and forth. That was a good group.
Is that Jeff's father? Or?
So John is the son that's my age. Jeff is the one that's a couple years younger. That is
Okay.
one of the owners of
Pooch's
Pooch's, yeah.
Paw. Yeah.
Yep. So John, he's actually living in San Diego now. Well, there's a lot of Wesley people living in San Diego.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who the first one was that went out there. I don't know whether it was Tommy Serra or Tommy followed somebody else or whoever it was. But all of a sudden, there was a whole bunch of guys. And then California guys was Jeff Marone. Was it Jeff Marone?
Yeah, Jeff Marone went over there. Sam Pizarro too. Sam
Sam
Pizarro. He was
Pizarro,
on my
yeah.
baseball team.
That's right. That was a pretty good baseball team there. Right?
Yeah. We after my year they went up to Division 1. So in 2000 we won the division. Our number one pitcher Ben Nadeau actually got hurt toward the end of the season, and we ended up losing in the quarterfinals of the state playoffs that year. And Wesley had some good teams in those late 90s with Coach Reed coaching. And, a year or two earlier, you had Jerry Oth and that group come through, and they won a division championship. So we got moved up to Division 1 after. That team after me, because my grade only had 4 seniors in 2000, and we won the division. So they had almost the whole team back. And Sam Pizarro, I was the catcher, but Sam caught a little bit too against non-league games that year. He also played first base. And then when I left, he was very good. He stepped right into my shoes as a catcher. So they filled right in. And if they were in Division 2 that year, they would have possibly gone pretty far. But, being in Division 1, I think they still made the playoffs in 2001. So
see, I kind of forgotten about that era. That was the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, so they were in Division 1 for a few years, and then they moved back down to 2. So I know when Coach was Bob Gahoon right over there, he was coaching. He coached a handful of about 3 or 4 years in Division 1 when they had Sainsbury was a great pitcher, and there was one other guy
Wesley,
too.
right?
Yeah, and forgot the other kid's name, but they had 2 very good pitchers.
I forgot about Sainsbury. I thought he was a Pawcatuck guy.
No, he was Westerly.
Wow.
And I forgot the other kid's name, but they had some good talent there, and they just happened to be in Division 1 for a couple of those years.
Well, anyway, I never really got to finish the story because it really wasn't important. But I was in Easy Package store yesterday, and Kyle Burchill comes up to me, and he's got this old picture of a bunch of old guys in their baseball uniforms, and I'm just being facetious now. I'm saying they're old guys because I'm about the same age.
There he is. There's Reyes.
Mike Reyes.
There he is.
There he is, my man. Anyway, and he's talking about, he's asking me who the guys were. So I was able to identify about 4 or 5 of the guys.
Yeah.
Because they were old. They were young. They were really, really young back then. So it was driving us crazy. So he pulls out the actual picture that was taken at the Hall of Fame induction at Stonington High School. I got even more, but we were still stumped on about 5 guys. So guess what? Who's the guy that the historian at Stonington? Chief David Erskine,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
I'm in the package store, and I'm talking to Chief Erskine on one cell phone. Kyle Burchill's got his cell phone, and he's got the pictures over there. He's texting me the pictures, and I'm talking to Dave. And now once we narrowed it down to the Hall of Fame induction, he was able to get everyone. Maybe Bob can the captain, the police captain. Hey, hey, good morning, Mike. How you doing, buddy? How are you? Hey, we got 2 head coaches here. Wow.
Yeah, take a seat. Yeah.
Jerry Desmond is the guy I'm thinking of.
Give me a chance to order food here.
Jerry Desmond is the guy I'm thinking of. That was he didn't really belong on that team. He wasn't in that group, but somehow or other he was in that picture. Last year's Hall of Fame induction.
Snuck into the picture.
Yeah, he was. He had the glasses on.
Well, he gets to be
he's
in
no
the
longer
Hall
with
of
us
Fame.
now.
So
I want to say good morning to
yeah,
Mike Reyes.
it's already on.
Yeah, it's already on. So
Morning.
Good morning, Mike. You bringing anybody with you?
No, I had mentioned before. So all the girls have spring sports. My daughter's got training right now. They're always busy. They're always doing something.
You know, the thing is,
Saturday morning's tough.
Once you get a Saturday morning, and you get. I can remember as a kid. Well, the only time that never counted for us because Coach or Jerry would say, "You guys are going to be on the field by 6:30 tomorrow morning," and there was nobody who was going to, or if he said, "You've got to be at such and such Viro's La Casa Diner tomorrow," and the breakfast is on Viro.
Yeah, now we know. Like in football, if we ever had practice at 6 a.m. now, I'd have about 15 kids on the team. So
Yeah, it's tough.
it's like their one day to sleep here. So it's tough to get guys. It's tough to get high school kids to come on here this early.
Mike, I just wanted to have you in because you had one heck of a year.
Thank you.
And never could my wife would, it was tough getting her to go to boys games, never let alone girls games. But I got to say this, she went to probably half a dozen of the girls' basketball games. She really enjoyed it.
That's great.
And the kids, not only your daughter, but there's a whole bunch of kids. Then you were mentioning the Parker girl, right?
Yeah, I have her two brothers on the baseball team, both on the varsity roster. It's a good athletic.
Yeah,
program.
it is. Kids are great.
Mike, what is
Jenna?
is she a senior this year? Or
No, she's only a freshman too. So
she's only a freshman.
So Jack, freshman on the baseball team, they're twins.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know they were twins.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
twins.
so that-
Now you found out.
yeah, now I know. He's
So they're both freshmen.
gonna be catching in a varsity game today until
Yeah.
we get Shep. Shep. I always call Grayson Shep.
Oh,
And we get Grayson back. Shep's his older brother.
Yep, and then there was a Shep and
His grandfather.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
Shep.
grandfather. Yeah.
But yeah, no. So Jenna was a great freshman. She came in right away. She's really a really tough kid. Very coachable. We've had her since she was in 5th grade. We've been coaching her for a long time, so she fit right in, stepped right in. She's kind of an undersized player, but she plays around the basket. She's really tough. One of our best defenders, and looking forward to having her for 3 more years.
Want a cup of coffee, Mike?
Sure, I'll have a black coffee. Thank you.
All right, so she's fit. But who are some of your other players, Mike?
So, I mean, starting off with our seniors, we only had 2 seniors this year, 2 senior captains. Kate Rafferty, who was just an amazing athlete. I mean, her best sport is soccer. That's where she is today. She's up in like Saratoga, New York,
Oh my God!
at a soccer tournament. She still played soccer throughout the basketball season. So on the weekends, she would take off after Saturday practices, and she always had like 2 soccer games during the weekend, and soccer practice at night after basketball practice. So she's a great athlete. She's actually going to Wheaton College to play soccer. Really good
in
student.
Pennsylvania, right? Is it Wheaton in Pennsylvania?
Wheaton, I think
I'm
it's
pretty
in-
sure it is.
Is it in Pennsylvania
It's
or
a good
Mass?
school. Good finance.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know it's
Yeah.
around here somewhere. It's not too
But
far away.
she's going to Wheaton. So and then Juliana Boisonet, she's another senior.
And I know her. Yeah, I have coffee with her grandfather 5 days a week.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so she had a great year for us. She's one of the better shooters on the team.
Yeah.
And they were both just great leaders. Coming in as a new coach, new program, they bought into what we were trying to do, and they kind of carried us, with their leadership.
right.
And then
You needed that because you needed the freshmen had talent from what I can see, but they needed someone to kind of give them a little
Absolutely.
nudge. Yeah.
And those girls, they played. I mean, Wesley's been in Division I for a few years, so they had played as freshmen all 4 years in Division I, so they kind of knew what to expect, and were able to guide the younger girls about,
Are you going to be back into Division I?
Yeah, we're not. I don't think we're going anywhere for a while, which is
with
fine.
The talent you've got
Yeah,
on that team.
yeah, no, it's good competition. We're looking forward to it moving forward. So I don't think we're moving anywhere.
How about the Pellegrino girl? Is she coming back?
Yep. So we have a good class of juniors coming back. We had Maddie Pellegrino, who started for us all year long. Played around the basket. I know she likes to play down low, but people don't realize she's one of the better shooters on the team. When we would have shooting drills in practice, from like 15 feet or so, like she doesn't miss. So she's a really good shooter, really nice kid. She was one of our best, we would call like a help side defender. So she was always in position when our guards were out pressuring the ball handlers on the 3-point line. If they got beat, Maddie was always able to step in and, usually stop the penetration from the opposing team. So she was great. Danica Jarrett really came on. Danica's another just great athlete.
What year is she?
She's a junior. So we'll have her back. She started for us all year. Another really good soccer player, but I think she's doing track. Just good athletes.
A lot of girls can do multiple sports.
Yeah,
now, but you got to declare your sport, though, right?
They do, but it's nice to have.
Yeah, not only if it's during the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If it's a different season, it doesn't matter. They're only playing
But
one.
most of the girls play 2 or if not 3 sports, which is great. It's great for the school. It's great for all the programs, and I think it's good for their body too to do something different.
All right. So let's give. We've left out some key people on that girls team. Who are we leaving out?
Well, we could talk about them too, but I still have another.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if you know CC Saint.
Yes.
She's another junior.
She came along.
She did.
Yes.
And so she actually, I give her a lot of credit because she would come in off the bench and she would kind of have to do a little bit of everything. One day she had to handle the ball. One day she had to cover their best defense, be the best defender, cover the best offensive player on the other team. She can shoot. She can handle the ball really well. So she's coming back. Looking forward to having her back. She really, really improved. And then Casey Macera. I don't know if you know
Yes,
Casey.
no, I'm very familiar.
Yeah,
with all
so Casey's a really good lacrosse player, but she really improved throughout the year, where she started the season as a junior, actually playing junior varsity, to the point where we had her in the playoffs coming off the bench again and covering the best girl on the other team. She really worked hard, really proud of her. And then Emerson Federico, we know the Federico
Yes.
family, Coach
Yeah,
Fed's
that's
daughter.
Is that
That's
David's
daughter.
Dave's
Yep.
daughter?
Yep, same thing. Just really good, hardworking girl. And for someone that's a junior that actually didn't get a lot of varsity minutes at the start of the year, she was named captain.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah. So the girls kind of voted for captains at the beginning of the year, and Emerson was named the captain, even though she didn't necessarily score the most points or anything like that. But she was very vocal, very supportive, just an awesome leader.
Yeah.
So she'll hopefully be back. And then we got a really big group of sophomores that mainly played junior varsity. Abby Champlin, Emery Foss, Phoebe Brennan, and Francesca DeCaro. So those four should be back. They actually, the JV team, it's not in the newspaper anymore, but they only lost 2 games all year long.
Wow.
The one game they lost was in the JV tournament, and then they lost their last game of the year by like 4 points to North Kingston, who they beat early in the year. So
Yeah.
good group coming back.
And we haven't even mentioned the
And then we got
middle
some
school.
freshmen. And then the middle school. Yeah.
I mean, when you go undefeated 2 years in a row, that's pretty good,
Yeah.
right? 2 years in a row.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's a good group.
Yeah, and then you always hope that they come to Westerly too. Some of them, you don't want to lose.
No,
anything.
that's the thing. Hopefully, with Mike at the helm, and
We know we've so this group of middle school students and the freshmen that we have, like I had mentioned with Jenna, we started coaching them in travel when they were in like 4th and 5th grade. Some of them even in 3rd grade. So we
that's unbelievable, really.
together, and we know the families, we know the girls. I was just actually, my daughter was with 3 of them last night. We had pizza last night, so I hope they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. Now, how about Ella?
Yeah, so
Tell us a little
Elle
bit
had a
about
great
that.
year. To
What's
be
the
honest, like,
relationship between you and
yeah. So my daughter Ella Reyes, we were hoping, she would be able to step in and play varsity as a freshman, but you never know. But she did very well, and it's really a credit to her. She worked really hard every day in practice. Go ahead, you guys can order.
So we are here at the pantry, and the food looks so great. Ronnie's just
Going with the
ordered-
eggs Benedict today.
Where'd you go? Eggs Benedict? I want to do I want to do like the scrambled eggs with you got corned beef hash? All right.
Do you like for whole rice or hash browns for potatoes?
Well,
Cubed potatoes or shredded?
I'll do shredded.
And what kind of toast?
Just wheat toast. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You don't want anything, Mike?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I gotta go home and make breakfast for
Yeah.
everybody else.
Oh, really?
Sleeping, yeah.
And starting them, getting together with the players when they're really young. Some things I noticed too with the camps when Sue started,
Yeah.
back and they would get like 40
Yeah.
girls for their youth camp in the summer. And similar to when I became the baseball coach, first thing I did was get involved more in the little league and
huge.
it makes a huge difference because that first group when I started getting involved in the league, obviously there's a lot of people involved, so it's not like I came and did all this. There's so many people that put give so much time in the little league. But that first group, when I first started, they were like 7, 8 years old, and that was the 2022 group that we won a state championship with. And most of them played little league. We had Greg Gorman transfer in from Oklahoma, but other than him, all those guys were Wesley little league players.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it makes a huge difference, playing from when they're 7, 8 years
Right.
old and coming up
So
together.
we started our travel basketball league about 5 years ago, and now this year, so our 8th grade girls that played middle school, but they won again. They went undefeated in travel for 4 years. They never lost.
Wow.
We have a 7th grade group that did very well. They actually played in Division II, but moved up in the playoffs to Division I and did well. And then my 5th grade group, we went to the finals of the travel championship. And then my 3rd grade group, we won the championship. And so we coach all these teams.
I know you're coaching all these teams. You're also a teacher.
I'm a teacher. Yep. Yeah.
Middle school,
Yeah. At the middle school. I'm a science teacher at the middle school.
science teacher at middle school.
So like Ronnie said, but having them all play together, and I don't know if you come when you see them at the games, they all wear their jerseys to the
Yeah.
game. So like they're already like into it. We let them in the locker room. So I hope that
Oh wow, that's
builds-
great.
Yeah, build some confidence and makes them want to play on that court someday.
And I've said this before too. Like going over to football here for a second. If you look at all the schools that do very well, they normally have a very good youth program. And there's some big schools around here that should be better than what they are. Like, I think my buddy Gervasini at Coventry, hopefully he turns them around a little bit. But a school
I
like,
think
a
he-
school
I
like
think
Coventry
he will.
has a ton of male.
That's a
students.
big school.
It's a huge
And
biggest schools in
they
Dayton.
don't-
School.
And they don't have their own youth football league, and that obviously that's a huge reason why they're not as good when they get to high school, because a lot of them go to the private schools too, because there's not a lot of pride for their school if they're not playing for Coventry on as a youth. So why what's their tie there?
It's the same thing. Other than like girls softball in Coventry is very good, but like their girls
Yeah,
basketball
very
team,
good.
their best 3 8th graders all went to Pontigansett, who just won the
Unbelievable.
the high
Huh?
school state
They just won they won a high school.
They're always very good in baseball too.
Yeah.
We play them first game of the
Yeah.
season.
Kids
So
from everywhere.
Yeah.
yeah.
The whole
I
northwest
didn't
part of the
realize
state.
what
The
you,
middle school teams are always
what you
good.
said about the
Fine stuff.
Coventry not having.
Yeah, East Greenwich doesn't either.
Yeah.
They all-
Yes. You may have mentioned it or
Yeah,
someone
I probably
brought it to my attention, and I said, "How can you not have a
they all play elsewhere, like
Oh.
surrounding areas, like
That's-
West Warwick. They'll
that's
play.
taking away from your?"
Yeah, and you never know. Like those, they might end up going to Hendricken or LaSalle or anywhere really. So
Don't mention Hendricken's name. It's really, Mike, it's really strange.
Actually-
We didn't plan it this way. So Ron and I came in and was sitting down.
I know.
And all of a sudden, we see Bob
Yeah.
Cahoon come walking through the
Yeah,
door.
I talked to him when I got it.
Then all the other guys,
Yeah.
he said, "Are they spying on you, Ron?"
must be having a team coaching breakfast before they start tryouts
said
this
they have,
week.
yeah, they start.
Yeah. And one thing about Mike Reyes, he's the same age as my son. They played basketball on
Yep.
opposite teams. Todd played in school for the deaf, and
We
Mike
played
was-
we played our senior
played-
year.
Played in the senior year. It was a good game. 11-point. It was like a 11-point spread. Wesley was down by 11 in the second half. They played 16-minute halves. Wesley came back and won by 11. So it was just a matter
Yeah,
of depth.
it was a good game.
But anyway, my point is that these kids, they kind of know each other. You know what I mean? It's just really, really amazing that. And Mike, the point is that Mike was a head basketball coach for the Stonington Bears.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
Right there. And
I've worn all the colors. I was at Charo.
you were at Charo too, Mike?
So I started when I graduated college and came home. I was an assistant at Charo with Chris Rutaco when he was at.
Oh,
so
wow.
Chris was my middle school and high school JV coach and one of my best friends actually. And so I was his assistant at Charahoe, and then Mike Gleason joined us. We had a
What
really,
a great staff.
really
What a
good
staff,
Yeah,
huh?
it was awesome.
What
They won a
a
state-
staff.
they won a championship.
We won
didn't
a
they? Yeah.
championship. Yeah, we went 2 years in a row, and the second year we won it. And then the following year, Mike got the job at Westerly, and I got the job at Stonington.
Now,
And,
how did that feel being over there in Stonington? Was it pretty good? Or
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I was very lucky. I had some really, really, really talented teams. Went my second year. We went to the state semifinal and played Hartford Public, which is the farthest they've been in the state tournament. And so I had really good success. And then actually, that's luckily enough where I met my wife. My wife was the Ledyard girls basketball coach.
Oh,
So
nice.
we met through coaching, and that's how we started our family.
Wow. And
Yep.
also, you had a pretty. You were the boys' coach,
Yeah, I was the boys coach. Yep.
and the girls' coach was none other than Paula Sola.
Yeah, yep.
Unbelievable.
Paula was a great mentor when I first, because that was, my first varsity coaching experience. So she was a great mentor for me. And then she even, she's still a really close friend. She babysat Ella when Ella was.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah, no, she would babysit Ella for us. So now she's coaching against her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But the game that you when you knocked off, you won the first playoff game. She was in the stands.
Yeah,
sitting
yep.
behind
Yeah,
us
we played
with a bunch
Shea
of
Tolman.
other Stonington
Yep.
people. And
Yep. They had a great season.
yeah.
They were there. They were there a few times actually. So
Yeah.
Now,
I kind of work the
I got-
crowd there, and I see them up there all the
you don't
time.
have to answer this.
That's all right.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. If you had to play them at the end of the year,
Yeah, no, we want to play them again.
you want to
No,
play
that,
them again?
that was a
No.
game that we lost by 2 points in the Christmas tournament, and that I love Paula, but we wanted that game, and that's a game we still talk about. That
Yeah.
we
They
were
always
just-
haunt you.
yeah, it
She
does.
said she even admits. I've heard through the grapevine that she said you probably would have beaten us.
Yeah,
If
I
we
mean,
played it-
they were really good. They were so big, which we had a hard time with. But it was the first 3 weeks of the year, first 4 weeks, like you're still trying to figure things out. So, but yeah, that's a game that we still think about.
Yeah, especially being the younger team to start off. It takes
right.
a little while to figure yourself out and
Watch
get
out
going
this
there.
year. Watch
I
out this
know.
year.
Yeah, we'll see.
And you too, Ron. You got some talent coming up on football and baseball.
Yeah, and this is the first year in Division One for baseball, so we're excited about that. And all the players want to be in Division One, and they're ready to go, and they're excited to be playing. So we have our first scrimmage today in a little bit.
Yep.
So
So you got the girls' head coach and the boys'
Yeah.
baseball head coach sitting right across
yeah,
the way from me, right here. That's great. Talking to Mike Reyes, our special guest, and my partner Ron Spazzato, who also substitutes as a head football coach and a head baseball
In his free
coach.
time.
yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't ask for. I got smiles all over my face because I grew up at the high school. That was my the Federico Gymnasium. Actually, was my front yard, and
Thank you.
there was no Federico gym there. There was just a practice football field, and then on one corner was the softball field. The guys used to play. Remember those? They used to play slow pitch softball. Right there, that
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah, and we're the quad area.
My father,
I never knew that.
yeah, my father was quite a guy, and he bought the 2 lots right behind the high school, and all of a sudden they announced in the newspaper that they were putting a gymnasium there for basketball in honor of Coach Federico, and my father said I paid extra money to get these 2 lots so no one would block my view. Now, all of a sudden he's got.
Yeah.
But listen, we were all sports in my family. My brother Frank, some of the things he did was legendary. He would get kicked off of the basketball team for the first half of a game and come in and score 30-something points, against West Warwick, stuff like that, But that's neither here nor there. But I was really impressed with the way the girls played this year, and I told my wife, I said, going. And we had Hannah on our show last week, and Hannah was a very, very good basketball player, top notch, one of the best.
Hannah Dobson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was on the
Yeah.
show last
Yep.
week because she's
Yeah.
going into the Hall of Fame.
Yep. She was great.
Yeah, and but the girls today, because of all the squads that you got, from when they're little, it's not really a comparison. It's not a fair fight because the girls that they have more. There's more experience there.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not constantly throwing the ball away. They're not constantly missing layups. They're playing the game the way, almost like the way the guys play it.
I watched a little bit of the middle school finals on 3-2-1 or wherever the heck we were where it was on. The one thing I noticed the shooting that the amount of shots they made. Oh my God, she was making threes like crazy.
Yep.
And
So, I mean, kind of what you said, Sal, these girls practice, I mean, year round, even though they play other sports, they're still playing basketball year round. And I know, Sophie Gwaltney, who's in 8th grade, she's a tremendous shooter. She shoots probably every day. She really does.
Right.
And, that you can just tell, and she's improved so much in the last 2 years where if she's open,
thank you.
it's pretty much going in.
no, I'm also.
Hot sauce.
But it's a credit to the kids that they put the work in the off season. I mean, my daughter Ella, like I said, she stepped in varsity, but she plays year round. Along with she's playing lacrosse this year. She played volleyball this year, but she's still doing basketball
Well,
during those seasons. So it shows.
They seem to have migrated to lacrosse now.
It's
Yeah.
a great basketball
Switch.
sport.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
very similar.
Yeah, I noticed that. Wow, it's really crazy that Wesley is really tearing it up now.
It's big for the kids to make it a priority too. And we met with our coaches for football, met with all the players individually after the season, and the thing we said to every single one was that, we got to make this a priority. The lifts in the off season. If you're playing another sport, it's at the same time. Obviously, you go to your sport that you're playing, but anytime you can be there in the off season, we need them there. And we've had some big numbers. And when they make their sport a priority, and the commitment with their teammates is all together and a priority, that's when you're going to have good teams. So you can tell, basketball, these girls, or any of their sports, any sport that they're playing is a priority. They work at all. Some of those girls are playing 3 sports a year, and they prioritize every single one of them. And that's how your groups get good and how you win championships.
And, when they're doing their lifts in the off season, like that's when you build your team. Like, that's when the camaraderie and all the little things that they're getting stronger and they're getting better at their skills. But that's when the team bonding.
Yeah.
That's when it's really forged.
Yeah,
It's huge.
I noticed that. I'll give you an example. The Vossinet girl, one of the few players I've seen, the two-hand bounce pass.
Yeah.
Right. She's doing a one-hand bounce. She's looking over here and she's passing with one hand over there. I said, I've never seen girls at that age do that. Like it's like an Ernie DiGregorio type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
and
the way
it
they're
probably
grown up different.
and it probably wouldn't be happening if they didn't play so much and
Right.
together as youth and having the travel teams. So obviously other towns are doing the same thing because they have teams in those divisions. But having the travel program for the youth is huge because if you have a little more talent, those girls and boys are getting together and getting at a little higher level. And it's almost like having a travel team, but with only your town
Right.
players, and that's a great.
And the thing, Mike, is that these girls. It's not just girls; it's the guys. Hopefully, the boys will perk up a little bit and join you. But they're. If you've ever read Ernie D's book, Ernie D was basically introduced to real tough basketball at Westerly. He came down and played in the old gym, but still, he was shooting hook shots from the corner. He was dribbling behind his back. I mean, he was passing behind his back. So when he went home, he didn't just go lay on the couch because he was tired. He grew up not that far from those outdoor courts up there in the North Providence. Yeah. So that's what these girls are doing now.
Yeah. Yep. Got to.
I can see the fire in Mike's eye over here.
Yeah, it kind of takes
you too.
it takes the place of like obviously it probably started to tail her off a little after me, but all the playing on their own and playing pickup games, which doesn't really happen too often. But if you got people in charge of the youth leagues, to kind of making up for the lack of time.
Nowadays. Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough. I grew up right next to the Y, and so I was at the YMCA every day, multiple times a day, and there was always the house is still standing. No one lives there anymore. It's that big white house right on the corner right next to the Y. So that was my grandfather's house, Dr. LePere, and I would that's my grandfather.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I lived there, but there was always people playing, and now it's a little more structured, and you got to kind of make sure people are there. But and if not, my son, my daughter, they're in the basement doing their ball handling. They're outside shooting. I mean, Ella, she was so upset after we lost the quarterfinal game to Moses Brown. The next day, she's outside in the rain shooting.
Yeah. Wow. That's the way you learn.
Yeah.
It's a good thing with basketball and baseball, you play more games. So if you have a loss, usually there's only a couple of days, and you get right back at it. And hopefully you can.
Right.
It does linger with you, but you lose big games, baseball, football, whatever. You don't like it no matter what. So you want to get back on the field and get back to winning and feeling good about everybody.
Yeah.
That's the best part about basketball. You can kind of do that by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, listen, guys, we gotta we're almost time to break it up. I don't know if you guys got anywhere to go, but if you do,
we got the locker room in a little bit. About 9:30. I gotta get there for.
I got another interview. I'm booked all morning. I gotta go meet the voice here in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna meet the voice here, right here?
No,
I think it's at the studio. Right?
We're gonna do a virtual interview. But
Okay, good. Is there any chance that that Ella may move to the dock side of the force? And by that I mean LaSalle or Hendricken or some prep school.
So as far as we know, no. she's had, interest from other places to go, but she loves playing for Wesley. She really, the girls that are coming up, the 8th graders, her cousin Macy Antoch and Santana Hamlin, they're like best friends. And so she doesn't want to go anywhere. She wants to not only just play with them, but those are her best friends.
What also helps too is that they're actually, being in Division I, you're playing the same
Right.
teams that those teams would play.
Right.
So is there really a reason to go over there?
Exactly.
Not really. Plus,
No.
plus you always,
And how's she going to get there? We're not driving.
Yeah, you got to drive there. The big thing too is prep schools anyway. They're actually becoming more popular than the private high schools.
Yeah.
So you always have that 5th year. You can reclassify. So
Right.
you don't really have to go anywhere. And that's what we talk about, having town pride.
Right. She wants to play here. She doesn't want
That's
to go
good.
anywhere. And
That's
if
great.
she did,
great news.
then that would be a
God
job
bless her.
for
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
she loves playing here.
Yeah. So when you guys beat LaSalle this year, I was at the game and I was jumping up and down like,
It's one of the first
Like a
times we beat
madman.
them in a long time.
yeah. And I guess I don't know, was somebody from LaSalle or somebody said, what are you, why are you so excited? I said, well, the last time Wesley played LaSalle, it really meant anything. It was a 1-point loss. I think it was at Rhode Island College. And Wesley had Liz Crusoe and they had Hannah.
Yeah.
That was a very good group. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great game, man.
Yeah.
But I said that, anytime you can beat one of the big two,
Yep.
LaSalle or Hendricken, and the boys' side, there's no girls in Hendricken. But I'm going to jump up and down.
We'll have our shot in baseball this year. Maybe
There you
we'll
go.
get
There we go. All right.
It's awesome.
Listen, Mike, we're going to let you go to the voice.
All right.
My cousin Greg Morano, hopefully he's doing okay. He's back from his surgery
Yeah,
or
he
whatever
said
he
he's
had.
ready to go.
Sounded good. By the way, who won the mothers and the daughters?
I think the players were. I
Well, so I don't know if
I
you
watched
got
for a
to-
couple minutes. That was
So
funny.
They were shooting foul shots.
It was great. It was really a lot of fun. That was Juliana Boyden senior project, and the moms had fun. Nobody got hurt. Pulled some hamstrings or anything.
That was,
But we
that was a
the
great
girls
idea.
are great. They took it easy on them, but the girls were winning by 10. 2 minutes left, and a lot of times during practice, I would create situations for the girls to have to figure out. They're down by this many points with this many seconds, whatever. So with 2 minutes left, we flipped the score. We put the moms up 10, so the moms were winning.
I heard that. I
And,
heard about
the girls
that.
came back and they came up just 3 points short. So the moms won by 3. It was awesome.
All
It was
right.
really fun.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you for
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
coming
it.
here. Ron,
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Coming down.
Whenever you can make it. And Mike will get to see you in the future,
Yeah,
I'm
hopefully
sure.
we're not going anywhere.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. 3-2-1 media.
Yeah. We got to figure out when Ben puts the commercial on here because we're going to be live while we eat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, is he going to put it on now? You think?
We'll have to,
Anyway, Ben, why don't
text
you?
him in a minute.
We're going to release Mike because he's got a little bit of a podcast or whatever with a voice. So you want to play that? Maybe he's not there. Maybe he's not in the.
I'll hit the button over there. In a
Yeah,
minute
go
on
ahead.
camera.
And what a coincidence that we got Stonington Ice baseball coaches over there. You know any of those guys other than Bob?
Oh, you do? Yeah, there's one guy I know, but I worked with 3 of the guys. We worked with someone down the Seaside Beach Club.
Oh, yeah, and
And then I've known Bob forever. So they're all really good guys. I'm obviously rooting for Ronnie, but I see those guys.
It's all right.
Oh, definitely. I know Bob and I go way back.
You good self?
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance. and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.